And welcome to the September 7th episode of This Week in Esports.
That is my favorite one of all the Mixer ads. That one with the bear.
Yeah.
It just cracks me up. I feel like I'm 12. I'm like, I find it
Moments
hilarious.
before the show started, MK was like, oh my God, I love this one. Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, I'm MK.
I'm Kate, and we are coming to you live from the Microsoft campus in Redmond, Washington, and we're showcasing Mixer Magic, which is all about FTL and interconnectivity. My lovely co-host will tell you more.
So FTL is our unique streaming protocol for streaming at sub-second latency, and basically that means that instead of like a long, like 2 or 3 second delay between what we're saying and when you guys are hearing it, it's happening essentially in real time. And then as far as the interactivity goes, we're going to get your guys' feedback on what we should talk about today. You get to actively participate in what's happening on screen.
Exactly. So obviously it's summer. Well, now it's actually fall.
Almost.
But that means it's
not
fall.
Quite, not quite.
It's after Labor Day, Ed.
I wore a fall lipstick color.
So you know it's fall. At any rate,
is like,
exactly. Hey, they know. So there's a lot of esports to cover on the scene right now, and that means that we only have half an hour to do it, which means it's all up to you. So you guys are basically going to be our producers today.
Right. We don't choose the topics we discuss. You will be doing that for us, and so make sure you get your vote in if you want to hear your favorite esport discussed.
Yeah, if you want to hear more about your favorite esport, you want to hear the updates, anything you want, that is exactly what you're supposed to do. Now, before we get into the games we have for you this week.
Ooh, okay, a new segment
It's
that
true,
we're doing.
we love segments now.
I know, new segment, breaking news.
It's exactly as it sounds. So it's basically to bubble up esports news and stories that recently came out that we think are just too juicy to leave up to a vote. So for today.
Okay, one of the few leagues coming from WISA. This is brand new.
13 members, exactly. And basically, it's going to be talking a little bit about some paladins.
Right, so
and it's
high
Facebook
res.
specific, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Out of
so
SoCal.
it's interesting to see Facebook kind of coming in, making some moves in esports. They did that with PUBG recently with that exclusive streaming deal. So it's really interesting to see them taking this swing with high res.
Exactly, exactly, down in SoCal. And actually, speaking of SoCal, we've got some locations that we get to talk about in terms of a new esports arena, so esports IRL. So we have some things that we want to make sure we mention, which is, of course, GameWorks just announced the people that they're going to be becoming part of the esports arena teams and family.
And so Blizzard, who hours ago announced their own esports arena, is opening up in LA. It'll hold approximately 450 seats, as well as sound stages, control rooms, and the ever-important player lounges, green rooms. Plus, it'll allow Blizzard to host multiple broadcasts all at once.
Which is actually a fantastic thing. So the latest is open October 7th with the Overwatch Contenders League, and will play host to the Hearthstone Championship Tour's Summer Championship, and the entire first season of play for the upcoming Overwatch World League, amongst many, many others.
Whew, so. And GameWorks here in Seattle.
We do have a GameWorks. So there's two things. We have Blizzard that has an absolutely fantastic, apparently, new esports arena down in SoCal, which is great. The Santa Clarita area is also going to love that. Santa Rosa? It doesn't matter. Anyway, and then on the other side, we've also got GameWorks, which is, of course, a Dave & Buster's type affair, and that has a bunch of different places around the United States that is now going to be playing host themselves to esports and esport gaming type of tournaments.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this unfolds over this next year, because it is right downtown, right next to the Washington State Convention Center, which of course is where PAX West is held every year.
As well as Emerald City Comic Con.
So I'm going to be really interested to see how they combine these things.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. Have people been voting? Have we been just like blabbering while people are voting?
I mean, we do that too. Exactly.
We changed our interactivity, upgraded our interactivity options here, and so we're going to be turning on live voting from time to time in today's episode.
Exactly, and that's going to be right in your chat window. So right now, you're going to see, drum roll please. Oh, look at that. 4 different options, and there are many of you that have already voted, and obviously you voted correctly. What? So obviously the choices we're looking at, and you only have 30 seconds to vote, so make sure you make it count.
Quickly. Gfinity Elite Series, Counter-Strike, Rocket League, and Smash Bros.
Fun fact about Gfinity Elite Series, they just got a new arena themselves in London.
Ooh,
so there you go.
Hopefully we'll get to check that out sometime
I mean,
this year.
I'm just saying, things are happening. Arenas are going everybody. Oh, Rocket League,
Rocket
which
League.
I can't hate.
Of course, of course. Okay,
It's
so
true.
Rocket League just announced some changes coming up for Season 4 of their championship series.
Exactly. So they're expanding from 8 teams to 16 teams in both NA and EU region. Now remember, Rocket League is very young in the esports scene.
It's a baby. The
Baby.
first 8 teams are going to be part of the Rocket League Championship Series. And then the RLCS will include teams who earned their spot from Season 3 and the highest ranking team from the play-in.
Okay, so from the play-in event, the next 8 teams will be invited into the new division, quote, the Rocket League Rival Series, or RLRS for short.
Right, so both divisions will be competing parallel with one another, and this is one of my favorite things about esports. The average Joe on the street can get into the pro circuit.
Gotta love the contenders leagues for sure. So last weekend we saw the Rocket League play-ins happen, where 128 teams competed to earn their spot in the RLCS and the RLRS.
That's
God,
a
it's gonna be hard
mouthful.
to say out loud again.
Can we like just call it rollers or something?
Rollers?
Rollers? I don't know. Okay. Team NRG Esports and Team Rogue both already earned their spots in the RLCS due to their wins in Season 3. And now that the play-ins are over, we know exactly who will be competing alongside them.
Exactly. So let's talk NA first. G2 Esports, FlyQuest, Ghost Gaming, Cloud9, Renegades, and Emotion all earn their spots in the RLCS.
Some familiar names, some
There
newer
are.
ones. For the EU division, Team Envious, of course, and Flipside Tactics gained the first 2 slots from their wins in Season 3 and are now joined by Aeriality, Excel Esports, Frontline, Gale Force Esports, Method, and Mockit Esports. A lot of punchy names in there.
Very
man.
punchy. I mean, it's no Muffin Man, but that's fine. This lineup is bound to change as the end of the season. The bottom two of the RLCS and the top 2 of the RLRS battle it out in a double elimination tournament where the top 2 teams get invited to the RLCS in Season 5. Real honest contention right there.
Rocket League sure has a lot of viewing potential this season, and it's really cool to see esports growing and evolving. I mean, literally, the Rocket League community for esports has just doubled in size.
At the very least, exactly. Now, you can catch these leagues and see them compete in the RLRS Fridays. It's just going to be what it's going to be.
Rollers.
Fridays, 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Pacific. Now, the RLCS NA Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific, and RLCS EU Sundays at 9 a.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/Rocket League.
Okay, so there's Rocket League. Let's get our voting up here, guys, for the next segment.
Exactly,
Next
exactamundo.
segment. I do appreciate that we are both fans of the Slash. The
Yes,
other regular host,
that's-
Ricari.
Ricari is
Ricari
that it? Is that I've already forgotten. Just
Ricari
kidding.
whom?
Heart you, Ricari Austin. You're awesome. At any rate, yes, he enjoys the.
He
The
calls
whack.
Slashes whack.
You know what? That's whack. How's
Yes.
about it?
Yeah,
How's about
yeah.
it all day long?
All right. Do we have a vote yet?
Well,
Let's go.
We got
10 more seconds.
and you only had 2 options here. So obviously there's a it's sort of a fighting game community versus first persons. There should be 4, but there's only 2. And you know what?
be
That makes
4.
things so much more interesting. Halo it
Halo with the
is.
win.
Exactly. So let's talk about it. After 2 weeks and 4 days of intense HCS action, the Halo Pro League for the fall 2017 season is already at the halfway point.
How did that happen? Beginning on August 23rd, the 8 teams from the NA region were pitted against one another to determine who really sits on top of the Halo throne and which teams will end up in the season finals at DreamHack Denver next month. Like, time is flying by.
Apparently it's already winter. Winter has come. Looking at the current standings, let's talk. Team Envious is sitting pretty on top with a 4-win, 0 losses count against the best of the best. Now, they recently took on former champions Optic Gaming, also known as Halo and COD Darlings, last week and gave them their first loss of the season. Now, we would say we expect Optic Gaming to come back and reclaim that first place slot. However, Envious, been looking good. Might be time for a new king of Halo, or in this case, 5 kings of Halo.
Yeah, King of the Mountain.
So mono, eat 5 other monos.
Rounding out the top 4, we do have to highlight Team Liquid in their 3rd place spot and Team Splice, the team who won the summer 2017 season as they look to reclaim their glory.
It's true. Now, all 8 Pro League teams will be making their way to DreamHack Denver next month, and the higher they place in Pro League, the better their chances will be at the tournament due to how the seating will work at the event. That's just math, guys. It's just math.
We're excited for this event coming up next month, but before that, we can't forget our EU friends.
No, we cannot. They are friends from across the pond. Next weekend will be time for the EU region to shine with the HCS London event being put on by our friends at Gfinity in their newly renovated arena in Fulham, London.
Already sold out event brings together the top EU teams right alongside any amateur hopefuls who want to make a name for themselves in the scene. Again, average Joe off the street who absolutely, or Josette, who absolutely loves esports and Halo.
Truth.
You could have your moment.
This is how people begin in esports. Now, the event will be going down next Friday to Sunday, right here, mixer.com/Halo. And you can head over for more details to halo.gg for all of the info about the event.
And if that wasn't enough Halo news for you, we should also mention that the Halo tournaments that were happening at Microsoft stores across the U.S. over the weekend.
Another way for
Make sure you check in with your local Microsoft stores to look for tournaments and stuff like that. So those were a resounding success.
Yeah.
A ton of people posting social media pictures from their locations, and we're really glad to see people making friends while they compete in their favorite game of choice.
You know, everybody's got those LAN tournament stories from way back in the day. So the next tournament will be happening in October, this time for 4v4 teams. So head over to halo.gg and make sure you sign up when they become available. You, 3 friends, stuff happens.
Glory.
So let's give you guys a chance to vote. And while you're doing that, I was looking up Muffin Man because that's the.
What team was that? That was
it's
your favorite
from.
team.
I know it's my ruck. You know what? We do know them, Ed, and thank you for asking.
Do you know the Muffin Men?
Well, I wish to know them better. I would say they live on Drury Lane. I've heard. That's what I should have said first. Oh, it's so upsetting. So upsetting.
Getting some sass from the producer back there.
Exactly. Oh, I love it. 131 King says Ham and Average Joe and Halo. That's it. You know what? Exactly.
All right. And the winner of this segment is Smash. Let's talk Smash, guys.
Let's smash into Smash, I would say. Head it off there, MK.
Wordplay. Okay, so last weekend, Red Bull hosted an enormous Super Smash Bros. Melee tournament in Los Angeles with a format as unique as its theme, called Smash Gods and Gatekeepers.
You got to appreciate a good title, much like that. Now, here's how the main event breaks down. 8 of the top players in the world are chosen to be team captains or gods of the tournament, and 800 players, yeah, you heard me right, go to war in the open bracket. Now, each God chooses 1 player to bypass open bracket and 2 players from the 32, this is going to be confusing, but come with me on this one, that fought their way to the top of that bracket. Now, the 16 players that aren't picked fought amongst each other in the Forsaken bracket.
Oh, that's just sad.
I mean, it's Forsaken itself. And what follows is the Battle of the Gods and Gatekeepers.
So then it's a 5-game series in which teams choose which player they'll send out into one-on-one combat for the first 4 games. And if the set goes to game 5, the teams play a 2v2 team battle to decide the winner. Absolute madness.
Man, I was going to say, I thought the whole RLRS, RLCS, I thought that was hard. No. So after getting revenge on Team Wizrobe for knocking them into the loser's bracket, Team Mewtwo King, consisting of Duck, Shroomed, and Zoo, which is also what they called me in college, had a pretty smooth flight to grand finals.
So waiting for them on the winner's side was Team SFAT and his CLG teammate Pew Pew U, Ryan Ford and Army. Knowing the strength of SFAT and Pew Pew U in 2v2s, Team Mewtwo King needed to do everything it took to avoid a game 5.
Can I say this is sounding a lot like spoken word poetry? Grand finals started off with back-to-back upsets with Duck defeating Pew Pew U and Shroom defeating SFAT. Now, Zoo came through for Team Mewtwo King by defeating Ryan Ford in Game 3 to reset the bracket. That's 3-0.
Set 2 of Grand started with Duck showing his upset with Samus was no fluke, winning his game against Team Captain SFAT. Zoo and Shroomed both won decisively over Army and Ryan Ford, the one guy with the regular name, to complete the 6-0 losers run and emerge the winners of the $10,000 prize pool.
Now, exactly. And now, congrats to those players and Cal from Ohio for getting first place in the Forsaken bracket. Check out smash.gg for full bracket results and upcoming Smash Bros. Tournaments. Now, while you guys are voting, Cal and Ryan Ford.
Cal and Ryan Ford.
I'm telling you, the ironic part of this is that those 2 are the most strange names in that roster.
Shroomed, Zoo,
you know,
SFAT. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, we get so used to calling players by their gamer tags that hearing real names out there,
It's like, what do we do with our hands?
Seth Abner, who? I mean, yeah,
Cal. Is
yeah,
that it? That's
yeah.
cool. Although that's kind of cool that you have a 3-letter gamer tag. Or maybe it's
That's
just his
true.
first name. Who's to
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Feels like not, but
All right.
whatever.
So what did we get for our voting? For
That's
our
a
voting
great
here?
question, and I'm curious if the actual voting went up.
Oh,
never
it's
mind.
IRL
We didn't
Esports.
have it.
Oh, right,
This
of
is what
course.
happens, guys. It's in the middle
we're
of the
so
show already.
excited. It's middle of the show.
This is what
What?
happens. So listen, now it's time for a segment we call IRL Esports.
So every week we'll feature a different personality in the space, and this time we have Alex Valle, an old school Street Fighter player who's been able to become one of the most respected in the fighting game community. So he's throwing an event called SoCal Regionals later this month, and we're here to welcome him on the show.
Alex, do we see yous?
Ooh, do
That
we
is a
have
fancy
Alex?
picture.
Hey,
Look
guys.
at
Hello,
your
sir.
picture,
Hi,
man.
Alex.
Hi, how you
grief.
guys doing?
This is a
Great.
very badass picture, I gotta say. I feel like you're gonna beat me up.
I mean, wait, okay, question. Are you a fighting games pro or just like a UFC fighter?
Or both.
All of the above.
Oh, wow. Use your imagination on that one.
I'll be honest with you, Alex, we don't have to. That picture says 1,000 words.
Okay, so for those who don't know you yet, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Well, first, thank you guys for welcoming me on your show.
Sure.
I was the former Street Fighter and Tekken US champion back in the arcade era. This is way before esports even was even a thought. People always wanted to know who were the best players in certain arcades. I mean, I wasn't even the first generation of top, what we used to call top players back then. But I eventually played with some of them, and right after the Super Turbo era into the Alpha series of Street Fighter, and that's kind of where I started to take over the reins of winning most of the championships, Street Fighter and Tekken, and various other fighting games as well. Leading up to about 2002ish, when I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with the name of Justin Wong and Daigo. Their reigns took over around then. So I was one of the first old schoolers that kind of introduced the big championship scene. But from then on, it really took off. And then now I'm obviously taking over a mentoring event organizer role these days.
Sweet. Now, speaking of that, obviously it's easy to see you're pretty heavily involved in the fighting game community. We have an event coming up, and we alluded to it earlier. The SoCal Regionals 2017 goes down at the end of the month. Seems pretty explanatory, but tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah. So SoCal Regionals is our premier fighting game event in the region. It's since there's no more arcades around, and we want to preserve the grassroots feel of inviting all the most popular games and some of the classic ones too, for all the fighting game fans. And with me and my partners, it started back in 2010, and it's around the time when Street Fighter 4 kind of blew up and just kind of took over the scene, and we started to add more games, like Tekken, BlazBlue, the Guilty Gear series, and all the other wonderful games that come to fruition. But leading up to 2017, now we're esports is very, very big now, and a lot of the fighting game publishers like Capcom has the Capcom Pro Tour. We are a premier stop. Tekken 7 with the Bandai Namco's publisher game. We're also part of the Tekken World Tour on that one. So you can see how these events have gravitated to premier locations where you can qualify to be part of their championships and also win some big pot prizes. I think the Capcom Pro Tour is $15,000 just at this premier stop. And the Tekken World Tour is $10,000 as a master event. And at the end of the road, at the end of the year, they play for huge prizes, which are over $500,000 in cash and prizes. It's so crazy. But we want to make sure that we're maintaining the grassroots feel, even though esports is here. That only means that we're progressing into a more presentable showcase to really detail who are the best players, tell the storylines, present the games, and of course, first and foremost, the community, right? Because
Right.
we're all playing right next to each other.
So you're in a really unique position, kind of having grown up with the fighting game community, to kind of speak to this. So how would you say the fighting scene on the West Coast compares to elsewhere in the world? Like, what makes it unique?
Well, I mean, in the West Coast in the U.S., for America, it actually originated here because, you know, my predecessors, right, John Choi and Mike Watson and Tomo Hiro, those are like the classic kings of Southern California Street Fighter players, and they've been winning tournaments. Well, John Choi is from NorCal, but they've been winning tournaments before I have. And once I started to practice with them, we would start winning tournaments nationwide. So it kind of, you know, started in the West Coast. We're more laid back, we're chill. I mean, you can see like in the 90s, it was, you know, low riders, you know, cars, hip hop, right? So like we're a bit more reserved. You know, East Coast is a bit more robust. You know, they're very hype, they're very animated. You can totally tell the difference in coasts, and you can see the mesh of different styles and personalities from each region. It's beautiful. Like we need that. We need the differentiate.
Love it.
And we need all the different unique personalities in the scene to make it shine. That's why we're so special that way.
Well, that's fantastic. And you, in fact, are special, Alex. And I thank you so much for coming on the show today. So last question, where can people find you? Where's your work? Give them the deets.
Yeah, you guys can, if you guys want more information about the fighting game community or our events, you can reach me on Twitter at the Alex Valle. I mean, if you guys are interested in watching SoCal Regionals, which is coming up this September 22nd through the 24th, tune in on twitch.tv/leveluplive. It's going to be an awesome show. It's going to be some of the best players in the world going to be at this event. Want to know who the best Street Fighter player is? Want to know who the best Tekken player is? Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, you name it. It's going to be there. So I hope you guys tune in.
Awesome.
Solid plug, Alex. Solid
Thank
plug.
you.
Yeah, thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much.
See ya.
Bye.
Whew.
That's going to be an awesome event.
September
Yeah.
22nd. Mark it on your calendars. Right, meow. I'm not sure why I keep rolling my R's, but that's how we do.
Right. Yeah.
Now, speaking of how we do, you guys have the vote
Back
chance
to the voting.
now.
I know. I got like I jumped the gun on that last segment. I was like, vote. Oh wait, no.
Well,
it's
you got
not time to
excited.
vote.
I get it. You
Yeah.
get excited.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Now, we do have, it says 4, but it
Ooh.
also says only 2. So
Oh, the other
two
two don't
have no
any votes
votes.
yet. That's why they're not showing up.
it feels like Gfinity is going to do it. I'm just going to go ahead and
Yeah.
vote for the
Yeah.
one that I think should be going on.
Oh,
I don't know how that
StarCraft.
happened.
Vote.
I mean, we only
10
have
more
10 seconds exactly. So you remember, mind yourself
Kate
to go
wants
and
to
vote.
talk about StarCraft, guys.
No,
I would vote, but
It's
my laptop just died. I forgot to plug it in.
Oh, it's
it's
Gfinity,
Gfinity.
but that's okay.
Who would've thunk?
We heard them real hard. Let me start us off here, if you don't mind.
Please take it away.
The Olympics of Esports, aka the Gfinity Elite Series, just wrapped up last weekend after a 2-month-long odyssey of Counter-Strike, Street Fighter, and of course, the ever-present Rocket League.
It was the first of its kind. It pitted major esports teams against each other in 3 major genres, like totally different ones, including first-person shooters, fighting games, and rocket soccer.
Rocket Soccer.
Carball.
Now, continuing the mainstreaming, and by the way, take a look at this is obviously the rocket ball we're looking at here, but we also got to see that new arena that looked good. Continuing the mainstreaming trend of esports, the series was put up on by Gfinity and picked up by BBC 3 for broadcast. I wonder if that's sort of like ESPN 2.
I know our Julia.
Julia Hardy, she's
Julia
a BBC
Hardy.
girl.
Yeah, she does stuff for BBC 3, so maybe she got to be involved in that. The series started with 160 pro esports players and a pot worth 225,000
British pounds, which is a lot of U.S. dinero if you're trying to do that.
I like it.
There you go.
After 10 weeks, an overall grand champion team would be named, in addition to a winning team for each game.
Okay, exactly. Now, the grand final was last weekend. 3 champions were named in the Gfinity Arena in that Fulham Arena near London. Talk about Rocket League.
So in the Rocket League competition, the 10 weeks of competition came down to a head-to-head matchup between Team Endpoint and Epsilon Esports. Some familiar names there.
Exactly. Now, Endpoint dominated the first 2 matches, and from there, traded every other game with that hard-fighting Epsilon team.
Endpoint took the best of the 6 matches and was awarded the 40,000 pound prize.
Exactly, that's okay. I mean, there's a lot of zeros in
Yeah,
esports
yeah.
on various sides of the aisle. Now, in the Street Fighter Elite Series Grand Final, that's a mouthful, the final pairing came down to Excel versus Envious, where I forgot that Excel was in this. Sorry.
Excel had swept Envious in the semis, but the final came all the way down to a 7th round decider, and Team Excel took the 10,000 pound pot.
They probably had all of their teams
really
organized and fabulously formatted. Hashtag Excel joke. Now, in the CSGO fight, the finals matched up Team Prophecy against Epsilon.
Epsilon had previously defeated Prophecy 2-0 in week 6, and the finals looked a bit like a repeat, with Epsilon crushing Prophecy 3 maps to nothing.
Pretty convincingly. Now, with the category winners announced, the overall franchise championship points were tallied. Epsilon Esports announces them grand champ across all 3 games, just barely ahead of Team Envious. A nice little feather in the cap of Epsilon.
It meant that they took home both the 40,000 pound pot for CSGO and the 25,000 pound prize for winning the overall championship.
Exactly. Now, this sort of interdisciplinary competition, which is a little bit like watching Mayweather against McGregor. Okay, interdisciplinary. Although, anyway, although in this case, the McGregor type did actually know what they were doing. It was truly a pleasure to watch. Just let us tell you right now.
There.
Exactly. I like to bring in metaphors.
Yeah.
Looking forward to Elite Series 2 in the future. Did you watch the McGregor v. Merriweather?
Okay.
Mayweather, not Merriweather.
Sidebar, super quick sidebar. I was at a wedding reception.
That's
one
right.
One of the guests pulled it up on her phone, and so I have this photo on my Instagram of a whole bunch of wedding guests gathered around watching the fight.
Nothing says romance like 2 guys beating the S out of each other. Am I right?
So we are looking forward to the Elite Series 2 in the future.
It's
gonna be
absolutely
amazing.
true. Yeah, you're gonna be able to see. And voting is now over, which
Ooh,
means,
okay.
man, do I get my thing?
Ooh,
do we get
your
to see?
thing?
I can't see. It says, "Oh, hey, Counter-Strike!" Woo!
All right.
Okay, let me start this one off if you don't mind.
Please.
So DreamHack Masters Malamo wrapped on the 3rd of this month in Sweden, with the $250,000 prize pool being claimed by who? We'll find out in a minute.
The tournament started with the group stage, in which the 16 top-level CSGO teams were split up into 4 groups. In this double elimination bracket, only the top 2 teams from each group reached the playoffs.
Okay, exactly. Now, the 8 remaining teams, and these are the who's who of CSGO, so listen up. G2 Esports out of France, SK Gaming, Brazil, NIP, I think they're Swedish, I should know, Navi, North, Immortals, Astralis, and Gambit. Now, tensions rose, as they usually do between these teams, as the bracket switched to single elimination. Now, if you lose a set, you are out of the tournament. Single elimination is what that means. Now, in the final set of the playoffs, it was the French versus the Danes. G2 versus North, set to battle for the $100,000 first place prize.
Map 1 started on Inferno, where G2 took a commanding lead of 13-4 in the 1st to 16 game. North adapted, and team member Config racked up almost 30 kills, allowing the team to win 8 more rounds before losing the set in a much more respectable 16-12.
It's true. Now, map 2 started off on Cobblestone, with North taking the lead in the first half with a score of 8-7. After switching sides, CT side, G2 revved up the engines and shut down North, winning the next 9 rounds out of 10 to take the tournament.
Congrats to G2 members Shocks, Body, NBK, Kenny S, Apex, and Smiths on their big win. Easy.
Exactly.
I couldn't resist.
No worries. Now, this marks G2's first win in the Intel Grand Slam, in which the first team to win 4 premier events organized by ESL or DreamHack gets $1 million. Now, that means,
this is like
now they are
triple crown.
dollars, and these guys are French, so what are you going to do? But that's okay. It's still not bad. Now, this means at the end of all, the winning team will have collected somewhere between $1.5 and $2 million in prize money.
This is like the triple crown of CSGO.
It's not bad. It's not a bad thing, especially coming in. Well, I was going to say, keep it up with these premier CSGO tournaments and more by visiting eslgaming.com and dreamhack.com. Now, while we're letting you guys vote, I have some things to say. If you are a CSGO premier esports athlete, whatever the wording you want to use. You basically just had the last 3 weeks of your day, of your life. We had Malmo in Sweden. Some people are in Mykonos right now because why not see the ESG? And then some people are in Atlanta for the Group A stages of the Group A stage for E-League.
All over the place. That's a lot of time zones.
That's a lot of time
travel.
zones. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, by the way, if you were in Group A and weren't able to go to the Mykonos tournament? I don't know if you, I mean, I'm telling you, you should just see, I mean, just even from the perspective of some of the people on my various feeds and different social media, like, shut up about it. And also, not for nothing, but you should consider watching some of the Mykonos ESG.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because actually, they have, amongst other incredible premier talent, they also have some fabulous looking jib shots of the entire Mykonos area, including the pool.
Stunning.
At any rate, speaking of stunning, talk about
upcoming tournaments.
We're already
wrapping
there.
up our show already.
Guys, this is what happens.
So, of course, we were just talking about CSGO. So one of the newest kids on the block, Turner Sports, is making a return to Counter-Strike with the E-League premiere tomorrow.
Now, exactly. Now, here's what's confusing, by the way. E-League Premier... We've lost Ed.
Too much.
E-League Premier League is actually, I think it's technically Season 3 of the E-League CSGO League, but... we'll let them.
Yeah, it's a little convoluted. So
exactly.
We'll see 8 of the top Counter-Strike teams go head-to-head for a month and a half of great entertainment and lots of memes.
Solid memes. There was some solid meming. I was only a part of one of the memes, but I can tell you it's fantastic.
Check out eleague.com for more information and the full schedule.
Also, a little side note for that, there's brand new interconnectivity along with the E-League streams and stuff as well, so check that out. Now, those of you into Overwatch, listen up. Contenders is back for week 4 of action this Saturday and Sunday. Talking teams like Envious, FaZe Clan, Immortals, as well as many others seeking to get the best record they can ahead of the upcoming playoffs.
OverwatchContenders.com has all the info you could possibly want there. Definitely check that out. If
literally
you are a fan
nothing
of
else, I
Overwatch.
think. Oh, but hey, listen, if you're into Rocket League,
oh, of course.
now is the time. Season Quattro. Not sure why I'm deciding to go bilingual there for one word. So season 4 of everyone's favorite car battle game, which, by the way, we've heard car battle, we've heard soccer.
Car ball, rocket soccer.
Sorry, you can't hear what we just heard, but
Our
it was hilarious.
Producer's being sassy.
He sass-pantsed it up there. At any rate, it's Thursday. Let's go for it. So it's back and ready to break all previous records for their league. Coming off the heels, the hot heels, that is, of NBC and Face It tournament. We're eager to see who comes out on top. Now, the RLCS. So it's rlcs.gg. Place to be if you're looking to get more
involved.
Sports.
Woo!
So, MK, I want to say thank you so much for filling in because this lady's a champ. Just be clear on that.
And every week, every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, mixer.com/channel1, you can get all of your esports news.
Exactly.
And, you can
you can watch past episodes, youtube.com/mixerchannel1, all spelled out. The word 1, not the letter. Wait, not the number.
O-N-E.
It's Thursday. And you can also follow us on Twitter at
Watch Mixer for more information and updates on the show to know what's happening in the beautiful wide world of esports.
Exactly. Also, tune into hashtag Esports Weekend, and seriously, just use it hashtag Esports Weekend on this same channel starting at 9 a.m. Pacific this Saturday. We'll show this episode on rebroadcast along with other esports content you are dying to watch. You can only show esports content on Mixer Channel 1 on the weekend, so I hope you come out to tune in and check out Ron Burgundy is what I used to say in my thing.
We will see you next week.
Ah.